Thank you very much for the video response. I think it's quite an honor for for someone to respond with a video particularly. And I am like you. I'm very new in this thing. Actually, you're kind of ahead of me. I'm pretty new in this. I just started. And you're the guy that motivated me to do this sort of thing. So at any rate, I just wanna kind of touch on the main highlights, the main points that you kind of made. There's some points that I kind of want to clarify or something like that, and then from there, hopefully the next video we can actually do other stuff. I mean, I noticed that you're a musician. That's quite impressive, man. I'm a musician as well, so I play a keyboard, a synthesizer, and I have a drum machine, a Roland drum machine, and I have African instruments, that sort of stuff. I have this as well, this, African instrument, this sort of thing, Anyway, so just giving you an idea of the kind of stuff I have, that sort of thing, So, if music be the fruit of love, play on. So, we could kind of do some of this stuff, another time. Anyways. So, just back to the points here. So, you mentioned a couple of points, of course. Like, for example, symbols being hijacked, diversity of sources, meaning that, diversity of sources lend credibility. I talked about moderates, the need for moderates, Confederate flag, for some people it's not a symbol of racism, and also talked, of course, credible argument based on a variety of sources, is more credible, that kind of stuff. And you also said that low threshold of credibility is healthy. And then actually factual accuracy is not crucial as long as people or news organizations are making a consistent effort to present events. And then also you mentioned that I actually rejected time as a credible source. So I just want to kind of reply to some of these points, and then from there we can kind of move on to other things. Well, on the aspect of hijacking of symbols. I think the question of hijacked symbols is an interesting one, and probably applies to the Confederate flag. Since the designer of the flag, William Miles, was a secessionist himself, so we could say that the symbolism behind the Confederate flag was to secede from the rest of the country. I should also point out that quite a large number of the Southerners are of Irish and Scottish descent. Or heritage, so the Confederate flag appeals to both peoples because St. Andrew's remains were taken to Scotland, and they were actually brought there by an Irish monk. So it makes sense that this would appeal to them, and of course even though of course William Miles himself pointed out, the guy who designed the Confederate flag, that he designed it without any intention for religious symbolism of anything, right? So that's what he said, and of course we do know that that is not the flag that was officially designed. There was another flag, what's called Stars of Bars or something like that. That's a flag that was officially adopted. Of course, he was in that committee that was making the flags. But it is his flag that was never officially adopted that actually became a popular flag, right? And I guess part of the reason is because this flag was distinct, so during the Civil War it was quite distinct, so soldiers were not confused as to what flag is this, that sort of stuff, Anyways, so then, so we can then say that part of the movement towards secession has to do with self-determination of the people in the South, right? The problem, of course, is that the South was a slavery economy. So the economy was based on slavery, which was a very cruel, inhuman thing. So it really kind of took away the credible argument that their secession had nothing to do with trying to protect this slave economy, you know. So, anyways, by the way, I have great respect for the Irish people. As a matter of fact, I'm working on a documentary right now which include Irish people in Canada. So, and I also have great friends from the Scottish community as well. You know, they were killed and play beautiful music with bagpipes. So I should also mention that in South Africa there is an ethnic group in the province of Limpopo that actually wears a kilt, which is similar to the Scottish kilt. It's quite interesting. So we can see that, you know, we are all humans after all. We are connected in one way or another. So now back to the point of Umshini Wami, right, which is the hot topic. The question of hijacked symbolism doesn't apply there, because, you know, the people who invented or composed the song Umshini Wami are the same people who are singing the song today, right? So there's no question of the symbol being hijacked, right? Now that may apply to the Confederate flag, because the Confederate flag was made in 1861. That's about what, 146 years ago. So the people that are carrying the flag today really are not the same people that, you know, designed the flag. So it's possible that they might using the flag for purposes for which the flag was never designed, you know, that kind of stuff, i.e., you know, racism, as we mentioned before, that sort of stuff, you know. It's regrettable, it's unfortunate. Your argument that, you know, some people, you know, who are using the Confederate flag today, you know, are using it without racist intentions. That is reasonable, definitely, that some people would be using it purely as a heritage thing, you know, as opposed to as a symbol of hate towards other people. And as you pointed out, if the symbol is hijacked, then you have work to do, because then, you know, you either have to try to exorcise. You actually need an exorcist, you know, to come and exorcise this flag of these, you know, demons of racism, slavery, xenophobia, and a lot of stuff. Or just abandon the flag and just come up with a new flag or something like that. You know, it's tough. Now, on the question of diversity of sources, the diversity of sources is in presenting a story is applicable to research papers, you know, and other scholarly dissertations, you know, but doesn't apply to news organizations, you know. I mean, I'm a professional journalist myself. I, you know, graduated as a journalist, and talking about news, journalism is actually governed by three principles, you know: accuracy, fairness, and objectivity, right? So accurate means that you must have your facts right. You must, you know, verify these facts. They must be verifiable. So verification of facts is very important. It's part of journalism. And also it must be fair, meaning that even if it's true, but, you know, you don't want to defame. It should not be motivated by malice to defame somebody else, you know. So there should be no malice there. That's where the fairness thing comes in. And also the last part is objectivity. So meaning also that, amongst other things, you know, you should not have a cozy relationship with people that you know, you interview, or your sources of news, you know. You should maintain that independence, that arm's length independence, that kind of stuff, you know. So that's why I was pointing out that, you know, Time magazine is not credible, and it's not as credible as you think it is, because, you know, when they go and report news, for example, in the Middle East, if they say that you know, Palestinians are terrorists, they're going to write that and say, you know, Palestinians are terrorists, and they're not going to go to the Palestinians and say that, you know, are you actually terrorists or something? No, that kind of truth is suppressed, and we're not saying that, we're not justifying, you know, what extremist groups do or what terrorist groups or anything like that, but just talking about just the whole pursuit of truth. Right? That, you know, the journalist must be able to pursue the truth unencumbered, you know, without being restricted, that kind of stuff.